Hi, guys. Today we have Dr. Larissa Elgudin on the podcast. She's a child and adolescent psychiatrist out of Beechwood, Ohio, and is affiliated with University Hospital's Ahuja Medical Center. She received her medical degree from Camervo State Medical Academy and has been practicing medicine for over 20 years. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Elgudin.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be part of your team.
So I just want to start it off by asking you a little bit about your educational background and what it was like to study in another country and then come over to the US and then start practicing medicine. Could you just expand a little bit on what your experience was like with that, please?
Sure. So I grew up in Russia, as you know, especially when I speak, people can realize it easily from my accent. And I did go to medical school there. So back in Russia, we actually graduated from high school at the age of 17. So back then, at the age of 17, we're supposed to make a decision about our career choices and decide what will be the best for us at that time. So my mom was a physician, plus some other family members were already practicing medicine back then. So I made this career choice to enter my medical school at the age of 17. So knowing now that it's not an easy decision, meaning you're not mature enough, meaning you don't understand life in general, plus your basic knowledge probably is not up to speed. However, I started my medical education in Russia and I successfully finished the medical school at the age of 23. So it's probably hard to imagine for the American students, how come you can become a doctor at the age of 23? But things happened. Things happened in the Soviet Union and was still in Soviet Union in the 90s. So we all got graduated from medical school in early ages, and then we all started our basic training and then practicing medicine when we were really young. It was not so easy to understand then at the time when I came to the United States, because when I came here, I realized the majority of medical students or majority of people who just graduated medical school, they're in their early 30s. They are much older, much more mature, and have much more sense of the reality of what's going on in their lives. So when I came, I had to take my exams again and then started residency again and go for the whole training. That it really helped me to move forward with my definite career choice. So.
And how would you say that transition was from studying and learning in Russia to coming back to America, coming here to America?
It was not easy. So we're talking about 1995. We didn't have internet or emails or Zoom calls or anything in that nature. We didn't even have cell phones at that time. So we usually have very heavy books that we had to read and underline and score. And then we took exams. This was a pencil paper exams. So nothing to do with electronic versions. So there was lots of studying, lots of talking, lots of conversations, and that was not easy. The exams were given only twice a year. So you had to meet the deadline, complete your application on the paper, send a letter, receive the invitation, and so forth. So within this 20 years, no, it's actually almost 30 years, our lives changed tremendously. So sometimes when I look back at what was happening then, it's interesting.
And so you were talking about how you were so young when you started your medical education, when you graduated. Did you see any pros to that or benefits? Because I know that it's definitely, like you were saying, you can gain a lot more experience by starting your career later, but at the same time, it's also like you're much later into your life. And not everybody wants to do that. So did you see it as a benefit at all to be so young when you graduated?
I see physical benefits because when you're young, you're physically more capable of staying up at nights and take calls and not sleep for 48, 60 hours straightforward. Emotionally, it's probably significantly harder because I think, and I can only speak for myself, I don't think so that I was ready at the age of 22 even process what's going on in life. So again, it has to be something in the middle when the person is physically capable of studying a lot and when the person emotionally and psychologically capable of understanding the nature of the profession of being a physician.
To talk about your specific profession, why did you decide to pursue pediatric psychiatry?
Well, initially I decided to pursue psychiatry. So to become a pediatric psychiatrist, you have to become a psychiatrist first. So I started my residency here in Cleveland as an adult psychiatrist. And through the few years of training, I realized that I really feel the need maybe to help not just adults, but the families in general. So when you treat children, you actually treat the whole family. It's more about addressing family needs and family requirements. When you deal with adults, you deal just with the one person. When you deal with the children, you deal with parents, siblings, grandparents, school, and so forth. That's number one. Number two, I saw that I can make changes in human lives. So when kids are young and they struggle with some difficulties, we can still make a change in their situations. It's completely different with adults. We're helping them, we're trying to understand, they're trying to understand their needs, but sometimes we feel hopeless that it's nothing that we can change. And it's completely opposite with children. There are lots of hopes because if we intervene early enough, that we can see our progress 10, 15 years later.
So continuing on that note, how does pediatric psychiatry, well, I mean, you already touched upon how you talk to the whole family and all, but how does pediatric psychiatry differ from adults in terms of the issues that they come in with? I know recently there's been a whole pandemic of like depression and anxiety from social media, especially affecting youth. Do you really see a lot of different illnesses among the youth compared to older patients?
Lots of yes. One difference is being diagnosed with autism. So a majority of people do get diagnosed with autistic spectrum conditions at early age. So if family recognize the social differences in their children, then they can again intervene early enough and get appropriate services for their children. When adults come to us and say, oh, I may be autistic or I may have some characterological traits that they're showing some autistic spectrum conditions, it's sometimes very hard to differentiate. Is it about the environment? Is it about their own issues? Is it about the job situation, family situation, and so forth? So that's one condition that actually needs to be diagnosed really early. The second one would be, we see a lot now, it will be ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Because of the online schooling, lots of families realize that their children are really cannot pay attention and they're very hyper when it comes to the schoolwork and homework. So we have a significant increase in complaints or presentations when they come to us and saying, oh gosh, now we know what's going on with school. So that's another portion that is different between children, college students, and adults. And then, of course, depression and anxiety affects all ages these days. So we see a huge increase in school anxiety conditions. So after staying at home for almost a year and a half, it's extremely difficult for some people to go back to school wearing masks, go back to school having all these social limitations. So we do see lots of school and social anxiety complaints in our practice.
If you could go back to your residency and your education, could you see yourself doing any other specialties, or do you think that you've truly found your passion in psychiatry?
Yes, I did found my passion in psychiatry. I don't see myself doing anything else. So when I talk to medical students, I always describe medicine, or I divide medicine in two different fields. You want to be procedure-oriented doctor, the doctor who fixes things and knows a little bit about their lives, or you want to be a physician who is involved in your patients' lives and know a lot about what's going on there. So if you're a procedure-oriented person and you like to fix them, and we need these doctors, we need anesthesiologists, we need doctors that do multiple procedures, we need doctors that treat cancer. So they do procedures, and it's perfect, and it's great. But we also need physicians who are involved in their patient's life. The family physicians, psychiatrists, pediatricians, they know everything, or majority of things they know about their patients. So I'm the person who likes to hear and likes to know and likes to be involved. I don't like a quick fix. And I always tell my patients, it's not going to be a quick fix. It takes time, but you'll get better. You'll get there.
So going off of that, what would you say is your favorite part about being a doctor as a whole, from any aspect, from getting to know the patients to feeling gratified when you help them? What's your favorite part personally?
When they say thank you, and when they come and see me for years and years being fine, being stable, when they bring their kids to me. I've been practicing a lot and for a lot of years. So I have some patients that they started seeing me as a middle school students, and now they already graduated from law school or some other schools, and they work. And they have families on their own, and they're doing great.
That's amazing. And what would you say your least favorite part about being a doctor is?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. I don't know. Bureaucracy, maybe. Bureaucracy of the medical system. Sometimes dealing with pharmacies and pharmaceutical companies and insurances. That's probably the worst part of medicine these days.
So I guess kind of going off of that, how have you seen the health industry as a whole change since you've become a doctor? I've seen many other doctors complain about all the bureaucracy and paperwork. Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's anything that could be changed in a reasonable manner soon that could help us avoid all this extra trouble?
I don't know about how to achieve the changes. I guess I'm not a politician, and I'm not in a, I don't see the large picture of what's going on in the country. It's very hard for me to predict it. Yes, but I do see the huge changes in bureaucracies and the paperwork since the beginning of my career. I see a lot that the insurance companies are dictating us or telling us what to do, how to do that. So I'm not sure how to fix that. I understand that there are some financial understanding struggling between hospitals and insurance companies, but I'm not sure how to fix it, to be honest with you. It's probably a very difficult question to answer.
Yeah, no, it most certainly is. And I don't even think our public health officials know how to fix it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Elgudin. We definitely learned a lot of great information and definitely have a very good view into the life of a pediatric psychiatrist now. And it was very nice meeting you.
Thank you so much, doctor. It was great to talk to you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.